Hello and welcome to the Celebrating Life podcast with Sony Thomas. Let me invite you to a small thought that can create a big impact for you in celebrating your life.
In today's episode of Small Thought, Big Impact, we see how a slight shift in an angle can make a difference in living a more holistic life. If you're a video game buff, you probably would have at some point in life played some kind of flight simulator game. I got hooked onto video games quite young, and I remember my cousin introducing me to a flight simulator game where the objective is to complete the missions which end with landing the planes in different types of environment. When it comes to games, I'm generally a quick study, and I had no problem in taking off the plane and finishing the air objectives. But I found it extremely hard to land the planes, and most of the time I would crash my plane, thus failing in the mission. I sat up all night trying with very little successful landing. I remember my cousin telling me over and over again, "Sony, mind your angle of approach." For some reason, I just couldn't get it right. In life, many times we do the right things and put in the good efforts too, but we crash without succeeding. Why is that? In simple terms, the wrong angle of approach to a situation. Many great thinkers have repeatedly said this. It is not the circumstances that presents a problem, but rather how we approach it. Let me illustrate. In a Wholeness of Life workshop, a participant once shared a work incident with me. Let's call the participant TJ. He said that once while scheduling the time for a meeting with his counterpart in one of the European countries, his boss suggested a day that happened to be a holiday over there. Immediately, the counterpart was vocal about his unavailability, it being a holiday, and suggested an alternative day. TJ's boss accepted the alternative day, which happened to be a national festival in India. So TJ asked me, how can I make a work-life balance in an environment like this? I bet each of you listening would have work stories with similar themes. I feel there is no correct answer here because there are many aspects to take into consideration like cultural dimension, nature of work, leadership style, your own ambition, your self-identity, etc. In my opinion, Indian culture putting work first is glorified beyond reason. I think the millennials of our generation are leading the change in setting up better work-life boundaries. But let me not get into the nitty-gritties of that. That is a small thought we will unpack another time. Today I would like to focus more on the angle of approach to the problem. You see, generally people approach the work-life balance problem from these two flawed angles. One of the flawed belief is called work-life balance, which in itself is an evil device that chains us to a dangerous perception of balance and compartmentalization. It puts in our mind an image of a weighing balance with work on one side and life on the other side. And our objective is to make it equal, which is wrong on two accounts. A, it's never equal in reality. It is always relative, depending on many factors. When I speak to my young cousin who has less than 5 years of experience, her aspiration, expectation and ambition from work is very different from my uncle who's nearing his retirement, which means the relevance of work differs in their lives. B, it's not life or work. There is only life and work is a part of it. You share a part of your life via your talent, time towards a craft or a livelihood from the opportunities you have leveraged. So when we are sold on the idea that for a good life, you should have a good work-life balance, you are already approaching the problem from a wrong angle. Therefore, you show signs of crashing like disinterest to go to work, fatigue, dissatisfaction, irritation, and general unhappiness about an otherwise very important area of your life. Remember, work allows you to survive and thrive. The second flawed angle of approach to this problem is how your self-esteem or self-worth or sense of security or your identity is tied into or derived only from work. When this happens, Your work has a tight grip over you because it is what fuels your identity. Take work out of your life, then you actually feel like there's nothing left in life. An alternative is not fathomable to you. Hence the overworking, always anxious about exceeding expectation at work and meeting all commitments. Stressing over quality of work, always on toes at work as if to always be perfect, and other anxiety causing behaviors. Therefore, this again is a flawed approach. So in closing, the angle of approach is critical to solve any obstacle in your path to your greatness and the life you desire and deserve. Anyone can live a fulfilled life, but not everyone is willing to let go of their past conditionings and approaches to adopt a new angle of approach.
Celebrating life is about the journey, and if I have brought value to your journey of life, I urge you to share this small thought with a close friend, a family member, or even a colleague so we can together build a happier world. For more thoughts on celebrating life, I invite you to stay connected with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Celebrating Life community. Thank you for your time and make it a wonderful day.